Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It looks like we may have a lot of guests joining us online today or out enjoying the beautiful weather that we're having. Isn't that nice? But whether you are here in the center or you are joining us online, I just invite you to stand as we sing our first community song.
All right. Sing along out there, okay. I got a little bit of laryngitis because I had a wedding yesterday. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Think I can make it down, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. But here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Ooh, yeah, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yeah. But look all around and nothing but a blue sky. Look straight ahead and nothing but a blue sky. I can feel it now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, it is, yeah. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
What a perfect opening song for our bright, sunshiny day here. Good morning, and welcome to the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or you are joining us as part of our online community, we want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. My name is Karen Blakely. I go by Rev K. I am one of the staff ministers here, and it is my honor to be your host this morning. All right, so this is the part of the morning where we usually send off our kiddos. It doesn't look like we have any little ones today, but let's just rub our hands together and just send some love and light and good vibes towards our children's church, knowing that that is a growing, thriving program, and we are just right in this very moment calling all of those littles in so that they can be filled with this teaching. I always think what life would have been like if I had gotten this at like 4 or 5. What a gift. All right. We also like to start our Sunday mornings by reminding us of who we are and what we believe. We are a supportive, inclusive, spiritual community that celebrates all of life. And we do this by aspiring to live authentic spiritual teachings through the practical applications of the teachings of science of mind. And there are a lot of teachings of science of mind, and so we have given a high-level summary that we like to talk about on Sunday morning. It's our top 4. First is that all thought is creative and influential, that your thought is actually that creative substance that gets pushed into the mold that creates what we outpicture in our lives. So I always like to say that's the good news and the bad news, right? Because at any moment we can have a new thought, but it also means that thoughts are things, and we've created some of these obstacles that we may be seeing in our life. Number 2 is that there is only God. that God is literally the source and substance of everything seen and unseen. And what that means is that any evil or devilishness, it starts and stops in our mind. That just like as we walk into a room and turn on a light, that God within us can light those areas that feel dark. Number 3 is that everything, and yes, I mean everything, in our experience is either a call for love or an expression of love. And how easy it is to feel that expression of love when we hug our loved ones or play with our fur babies or see littles, and how much that we need to take a moment to stop and breathe into this space and remember that call for love when there are challenging situations. Maybe a neighbor whose communication isn't as skillful as we'd like, or somebody who cuts us off in traffic, or even our beloveds at times. And number 4, my personal favorite, is that no matter what has happened in your life, no matter what anyone has told you, no matter what that little inner critic, that voice in your head keeps saying, right now, as I look out and see each and every one of you, what I know and what I invite all of us to hold for ourselves and each other is that we are whole, perfect, and complete right now in this very moment. Just breathe that in for a moment. Yes. We also really love to celebrate here at the Sierra Center. And so if you are here for the first or second time and you're feeling comfortable, would you just raise your hand so we can just applaud and just welcome you in? Yeah. All right. Awesome. And if you were here for the first or second time and did not feel like you wanted to stand, or those of you who are joining us for our online community that are here for the first or second time, there is a sign-up sheet that is over here on the high table that you can sign up to be on our newsletter. And you can also visit our website after service, and I'll give you that link in just a little bit. And you can sign up there so that you don't miss all of the amazing things that are happening here. All right, and so at this time, I want to invite Carol up for the lighting of our inclusion candle. We light this candle to celebrate the unity of all peoples, all faiths, all beings, and all life, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation seen and unseen. This candle reminds us of the light of spirit within each one of us. Yes. And it is that light of spirit that leads me into our next topic for this morning, and that is that we are a praying community. When we like to hold each other in that prayer and in that space. And so in the seat back pockets, you will find these lavender prayer requests. And you can go ahead and fill those out and put them in the box that's just to the left of the door. And the ecclesiastic team will go ahead and pray over them. And if you are part of our online community, you can do the same. You can visit our website, it's sierracenter.org, and then click on spiritual support, and one of our practitioners will reach out to you. You can also get prayer in person today after service with Rev Lanny, who is our practitioner of the day. And just invite that in, whether that is something that is on your heart that you just need somebody else to hold that wholeness for you, or you have something you want to celebrate and just have more of in your life. Take advantage of that opportunity for prayer. All right. And I'm now inviting Diana up from our Board of Trustees to speak our announcements.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Carolyn. My name is Diana Carolyn. I am the Vice President of your Board of Trustees for another week. And next Sunday, the 25th, we're holding our annual membership meeting, and it's really important that you guys come. We're going to select our new board members. It's all after service, and all members are welcome strongly encouraged to attend. Also, non-members, and the board's going to be providing food, so how can you go wrong? So please join our Board of Trustees. We've got 4 openings. Our new term kicks off right after the annual meeting next week. And if you're interested to learn more, please talk to Mitch or Gail or Jerry Lynn Flynn. Our Sacred Circle dance is tomorrow from 10:30 to noon. Come at 10:15 to get settled in, and RSVPs are appreciated by Judy, and her number's on the foyer, and on the flyer in the foyer. Don't miss Rev Mitch's health workshop, Eat, Pray, Live, next Saturday from 10 to 12, $30 suggested love offering. New class, Beyond Limits, facilitated by Patricia, Rev Patricia. It's going to be held via Zoom on Tuesdays from 6 to 8:30, and she really is a great facilitator. I highly recommend taking a class from her. Beginning February 3rd, going through the end of March, $215, which includes a $40 registration. Our community is officially live on Meetup, so please join us on Meetup. Just join, and you'll get information on all the gatherings and the meetings and everything, and you can scan the QR code to find our group. All the information is in the flyer on the foyer. There's Zoom links about all our announcements in our weekly newsletter, so please be sure to make sure you're getting that. And please turn off the cell phones. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Diana. We always have a lot going on here, and we love our music as well. And so we'll go ahead and lead into our next song by Billy Bensing.
All right. Hi, everybody. 1, 2, jump, boop, 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 doo. It works. All right, here we go. I love with the heart of God within me. I sing with the voice of God within me. I rest with the peace of God within me. Everything praises God within me. I know with the mind of God within me. I pray with the faith of God within me. I trust with the power of God within me. Everything praises God within me. I am a safe and loving place, born of beauty and amazing grace. I laugh with the joy of God within me. I shine with the light of God within me. I am who I am because of God within me. Everything praises God. Everything praises God. Everything praises God within me. Whoa, pretty song.
Good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Lanny Howard. I am the Minister Emeritus here at the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Having a little shawl problem here for a minute. Okay, so I am going to do a little sacred reading. Then I'm going to ring a bell, and we will do an Om. With each ring of the bell, there will be 3. And then we will go into a meditation, and I will bring us out with an affirmative prayer. So my reading this morning is short. Let's see if my computer recognizes me, my phone recognizes me. The reading is, you don't have to work at being high vibration because it is natural to you. But you do have to stop holding the thoughts that cause you to lower your vibration. It's a matter of no longer giving your attention to things that don't allow your cork to float or don't allow you to vibrate in harmony with who you really are. And that is a quote from Abraham Hicks, if you remember. Good old Abraham Hicks. So now I'm going to ring the bell. And we can breathe in when I'm ringing the bell. That way we'll have enough air for the om when it comes. how very good it is to know that there is an essence, a wondrous love, a divine intelligence that is conspiring for our good. That it is giving of itself all of that peace, all of that love, all of that harmony, all of that wholeness, all of that grace, all of that beauty, all of that truth, all the good we could ever imagine and more, because it is infinite. Words are inadequate to express that infinite allness, and yet it is right here, right now, responding to our thought, responding to our divine intention to express what is ours uniquely to express. Since we are all unique emanations of that one source, that one vital, vibrant energy. And so I know that this time together is blessed, that the words of Reverend Mitch tell us just what we need to know today to bring forth that essence in a greater way. And that we are blessed by the music that also resonates with us and allows us to get that higher vibration going that we may have forgotten is ours. And I know that everyone in service to us today is blessed by their service, and that we bless them for their service. And so I know that this day is the day that the Lord has made, and we rejoice and are glad in it. And so with gratitude and great thanksgiving, I release this word into the law of life itself, knowing that the law responds by corresponding to the energy and makes it so. And we affirm this together as we say, and so it is. And now we will have another song from Billy.
Me up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to have my little boombox playing with me. This is a song I wrote called Thoughts. Hopefully this is going to work here. Uh-oh. One little problem. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Settings. Bluetooth. Boombox. Should be connected. Oh, there we go. It unconnected. Don't need that. Where'd it go? Okay, hold on. Sorry. It goes. Huh. And we find such a distance fall behind. Heart to heart we build such of emptiness I feel. Such of emptiness I feel. Oh yeah. Too many times we got blind, leading blind, and wide in a circle arrow. Hand to my heart, I am playing my part. Wanna help them to find their way home. And we find such of distance fall behind. Heart to heart we build such of emptiness I feel. Such of emptiness I feel. Together we sing that a thought is a thing, and a thought can be all that it takes. Bring out the best, make the worst, take a risk. Now just think what a difference it makes. Yeah, ooh yeah. Hand in hand we find thoughts of distance fall behind. High to high we build thoughts of emptiness to fill. Hand in hand we find thoughts of distance fall behind. High to high we build thoughts of emptiness I feel. 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 I got a little laryngitis. I couldn't sing it properly, but I sang a little.
Let's
low
give it up
harmony.
again for the
Thank
Billy
you, everybody.
Bensing. We got him 2 Sundays in a row.
Oh, yes.
All right, Billy, you can have a seat. Well, that's another show. It's not happening here. Yes, you're dismissed. Happy Sunday, everyone. Turn to somebody and say, glad you came today. Glad you came today. Glad you're here today. All right. So just a couple quick little plugs here. I want to talk about Alternatives to Violence Project. We're having it come back around again. And Diane Meisler, who's in the back, wave Diane, she's heading that up. It's a very powerful program. We spend a couple days together to look at how we can communicate in a way that's kinder, that's more compassionate, and that's more loving. And sometimes we try to do that, but we get caught up sometimes with our triggers, right? And it's easy then to become short or not listen. And so this program actually takes us through a really deep process so we can unpack some of that stuff that makes us show up as not our greatest self sometimes. I went through this process several months ago, and I'll tell you, I had a healing I did not expect. And the deepening that happened with the group of people, that intimacy when you get below the layers of the mask and into that authentic aspect of ourselves, and you journey for like 2 days. And here's the cool thing about it. It's free. We could charge $300 for this, but it's free because we want everyone to come from a higher place whenever we're challenged, right? Because when we're squeezed, what comes out? Whatever's inside. So when we get to heal it through processes like this, it's a golden opportunity. So there is an interest list. If you go to the counter right there, just put your name and contact information if you're interested. And then there's a couple options for when we may offer it again. And so please take this opportunity. If this speaks to you at all, put your name on there and just let us know you're interested. It's not a commitment, but at least we know who might come to AVP. It's life-changing. Second thing I want to plug is Eat, Pray, Live. It's one of the best workshops I do. I haven't done it in a long time. It's a workshop that was born out of a health crisis I had in 2022. I couldn't walk but 20 feet, and I was out of breath. My legs would spasm, my heart would beat fast, and the doctors couldn't tell me what was wrong. They could say my inflammation markers were through the roof, and that was it. I wasn't getting any help. And then I remembered there was a power for good, and I could use it. So I started to use these principles. I worked with my affirmations. I walked my 20 feet. I said, I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise as I'm panting. And all of a sudden, as I started to change and I started to believe there was an answer, what happened? The book showed up. The video showed up. And I began to self-educate myself, and I did everything I could think of to heal. I quit the sugar, I quit the gluten, everything I could think of. And I learned some things about our mind, our body, and our spirit connection. And within 10 months, not only did I heal that condition, I dropped 40 pounds, I lost the brain fog, and I had energy better than before I was sick. And the cool thing about this workshop, when you leave after 2 hours, you leave with a written plan you created. And everything in there is easy to do, and it will change your life. I've had people say their A1C dropped. I've had people grow new hair. I've had people sleep longer. I've had brain fog leave just from this one little 2-hour workshop. So maybe that speaks to you, or maybe you're thinking of somebody, man, they got to get in there. All right. So please invite people to come. There's flyers over there. There's a little sign-up sheet. Lets me know how many workbooks, because you're going to get a workbook that you'll leave with to print. And if you have any questions about it, please let me know. I am not a medical professional, so you will consult with your doctor on any changes you make. But these are really simple and powerful things for your life. So I hope you join us Saturday, 10 to noon. Other thing I'm going to mention is we have these lovely goat soaps made by Laura. We're going to have a couple of these that we're going to auction off during the annual meeting, which is money that'll go to the center. And trust me, you want these. I have one of these, and they're fabulous. So know that we'll do that next week. Any Wayne Dyer fans? Wayne Dyer. Yeah, I saw him speak 5 times in person. I was a groupie. Yeah, I was obsessed. I know. And I love, he always had jokes that he would tell during his talks. Bless you. And so he was given a talk, and he said that his kids, for his 64th birthday, gave him a birthday card. And on the outside of it, it said, inside is a message from God. And he was so pleased. His 7 kids finally appreciated his work. And he opened the card, and it said, see you soon. I know, right? Brutal. Brutal. So today, we're going to talk about vibing with the universe. You know, and I've been thinking about this subject deeply because we're in the 40 Days of Prosperity program right now. And our affirmation that we worked with yesterday is that there's this constant flow of harmony, of good, of intelligence, of transition, of movement, of creation. It's everywhere. And I think sometimes we take it for granted, right? We take it for granted that the bare trees are going to have leaves in the spring. But there's a flow for good that's moving through everything. And it's taking care of everything, right? The birds don't wake up and wonder, will I find a worm today? They just flow with this good. And this good is flowing through and in and as us. And we can either flow with it or we can resist it. And when we slip into states of fear, we're swimming against the flow. But when we step into faith, into the belief of harmony, no matter what conditions look like, we are now vibing with the universe. Or our cork is floating, as Rev Lanny said. So who'd like their cork to float, right, with the universe? So here's the deal. The universe doesn't hear what you say, it responds to what you're vibrating, right? And we talk a lot about this in our spiritual community, about manifesting, about aligning, about calling things in. And today we're going to get really granular about how to do that. And it's not just a nice to do, it's not just our thoughts, but it's how we actually tune our inner vibration because everything is governed by laws. And we know this about the physical world, right? There's the law of gravity, the law of thermodynamics, the law of electricity. And nobody questions those laws. We use them all the time. But there's also laws that govern the unseen realm or the spiritual realm, and we call those spiritual laws, and they're just as real as the law of gravity or the law of thermodynamics or the law of electricity. And when we come into harmony with laws, as we know in the physical world, we can use them for a certain outcome. The same is true with spiritual laws. And the three spiritual laws we're going to talk about in connection to one another is first the law of vibration, which is actually the first spiritual law. Everything's vibrating. And you're vibrating. And you're broadcasting. That's the first law we're going to talk about. The second law we're going to talk about is that you're always drawing things to you according to the law of attraction, right? Like attracts like. And then lastly, very importantly, we're going to talk about the law of allowing. We got to let it land. Sometimes our good shows up and we're not receptive for it. So we're going to talk about those three laws and how when they're aligned, we begin to vibe as the flow vibes. We get into that stream of good. And it's not just positive thinking, it's vibrational honesty. Right? It's alignment with our thoughts and our vibrational feeling tone. Because you ever talk to somebody, ask them how they are, and they go, I'm fine, but their vibration isn't fine, right? That's not alignment. We want to get into alignment. So let's talk about first the law of vibration. Life responds to who you're being, not what you're wanting. Ernest Holmes, our founder, put it this way: nothing happens by chance, but everything by law, spiritual law. So the law of vibration tells us that everything is energy, everything is in movement, everything has a frequency. Your thoughts vibrate, your emotions vibrate, your beliefs vibrate, your nervous system vibrates. Anybody ever hear your issues live in your tissues? Yeah, that's why we got to heal whatever's unhealed. And the universe doesn't just respond to your affirmations, it responds to your dominant state of being, right? So if you start with the affirmation and you're not feeling it, you got to close the gap. That's the work. That's why you keep saying it. That's why you keep working on it, right? To vibrate as, when I first started walking with my spasming legs and my beating heart, I am happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. The condition did not reflect that. I had to see beyond the condition to a higher truth. And that's our work, right? I love this demonstration. Who knows who Howard Schultz is? Does anyone know? Anybody drink Starbucks? Yeah, he was the former CEO of Starbucks. And his life history is he grew up in public housing. And his father, who worked multiple jobs with no benefits, no security, very little dignity at work, he remembered that. And so when Schultz began building Starbucks, he made a radical decision. He decided he would offer health insurance to part-time employees. And it was unheard of at the time. Why? Because he wasn't building from fear and poverty. He wasn't building from lack consciousness. He was building from a frequency of dignity, care, and worth. And that vibration started to shape employee loyalty, brand culture. There were other coffee houses. Why aren't we hearing of them? Right? Because he built his brand on faith that the money would be there, that the franchise would be a success. He had an inner frequency that matched that success. And neuroscience confirms this as well, that emotional states change how we perceive our options. Think about it for a second. If you're depressed and sad and someone invites you to a party, we're going, I don't feel like it, right? We have an opportunity to expand and experience joy, but because we're in that state, that vibration, we don't see it as an option, right? Neuroscience confirms the study, the neuroscience of emotions says that elevated emotional states like gratitude, calm, curiosity, it actually expands your cognitive flexibility. It also helps reduce chronic stress, and it helps you expand your options of what you see as possible and increases problem solving. See, your frequency determines what's possible even when you can't see in the conditions what's possible. And that's our job, is to see through conditions, because conditions, manifestations, that's not source. There's only one source. And we're always interacting with it, and it starts with what we're vibrating. So I would invite you this week, don't ask, what do I want? Ask, what am I broadcasting? What is my vibration broadcasting? In fact, I invite you twice a day. Think about 2 times a day. Maybe it's morning, maybe it's evening, maybe it's at lunch, maybe it's afternoon. But twice a day, I want you to just check in and go, what is my dominant emotional state right now? And name it. Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I glad? Am I worried? Am I fearful? Am I depressed? Name it. Because when you name it, you can externalize it and make a different choice. And maybe you're sad, and maybe you can't go all the way to glad. Who knows Abraham Hicks' work? They have a whole continuum of emotions, right? But maybe you go from sad to just neutral, right? Just a little bit up. Because that small shift changes your vibration. And then when you're there, you can make another small shift. And another small shift, right? Because you cannot manifest a future your nervous system doesn't feel safe holding. That's why when we up-level a condition, if our nervous system isn't attuned to that higher vibrational state, it goes away. I remember I was living in Sacramento and had a house that backed up to the freeway. So there was the fence, there was an easement, and there was the freeway wall. And one day I was in my backyard and I heard dogs barking, and I noticed there was a tent on the other side of the fence. There was an unhoused person living on the other side of my fence. And, you know, I could hear the dogs barking. My dogs were barking at her dogs. It was a whole chaotic thing, so I had to go approach her and ask her how I could help her, that she couldn't stay here, but, you know, try to connect her with resources, try to help her get out of her situation. She said to me, you know, I had an apartment. I was unhoused and I had an apartment. I was living in an apartment with my dogs. And then I invited my friends over, and one of my friends caught the apartment on fire and they kicked me out. She self-sabotaged that situation. I believe that she did it unconsciously because her vibratory set point was living outside with her friends. And I think subconsciously she felt like the apartment removed her from that. See? It didn't feel safe to be in the apartment. It felt safe to be out on the street. And I want you to really hear this, that sometimes what feels safe can still be toxic. And our work is to move past that and lift our vibration into a higher level that matches the condition that we want to not only manifest, but keep in our experience. Which leads me to the law of attraction. Because once we raise that vibration, like attracts like. You know, Wayne Dyer said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. What you are. And more or less, really what you're vibrating. Because what you are is pure source. You are divine wisdom, love, power. You are whole, perfect, and complete. That's the essence of you. But the world covers stuff up on top, right? We get that judge in the head, those things that we were implanted in us when we were young. And our work is to undo that, because underneath it is source, is the divine. And the law of attraction, it's not magic, it's resonance. It's like a tuning fork. Right? So we have to look at our inner patterns and see what we're calling forth. And if you want to know what you're vibrating, just look at what's in your life and what's not in your life. Because when we can look at life as a mirror without judgment, without shame or blame, just as results, we can change it. You know who was really good at this is Sarah Blakely. So no relation to Rev K, Karen Blakely, that I know of. Anybody ever hear of Spanx? Ah, Spanx, yes. Okay, yeah. A lot of fans, right? So Sarah was selling fax machines, fun story, and she'd go door to door as a salesperson, and she often had to wear white pants, and she didn't like how the underwear and the pantyhose all showed the bunches and the lumps and the silhouette of the underwear and all this stuff. And so one day she thought, I'm just going to take my pantyhose and cut off the feet part and wear them underneath my pants. And it was like magic. It just seemed to clean everything up for her. And then she had a thought. She thought, this should be a product. Why aren't people selling this? Right? That light bulb moment. Anybody have that light bulb moment? Why didn't somebody create this, right? Now, the difference between Sarah and most of us is she acted on that. She said, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to create a prototype. I'm going to go out to the different factories, and I'm going to try and get a contract to manufacture these. And she'd show up at the factory, and she'd get a no. And another one, no. And another one, no. And another one, no. You know how many no's she got? 20. That's what I've researched. You said 40, maybe 40, but 20 is what I researched. And here's what she said later. She goes, I never tied rejection to my self-worth. I saw it as feedback, not identity. How many times do we try something, we fail, and then we think it's us? It's not. Eventually, one manufacturer said yes, not because she forced it, not because she had to make it happen, but she persisted in a stable sense of self-belief, not desperation. Desperation repels things that we want to call in. You ever met somebody that believed something so much it made you believe? Right? That's the kind of person she was. See, Spanx didn't appear because she wanted to be a success. It appeared because it matched her identity. See, long before Spanx was a product or a success or out in the world, she was doing visioning. She saw herself as an entrepreneur, even going door to door selling fax machines. Nothing about her external conditions said she was any of those things, but she knew it on the inside. And that's our job, is to know on the inside who we are, even when nothing externally seems to reflect that. And I want to ask you right now, where does your identity not match what you're wanting to call in? They've even done studies about people who want to release weight. That one of the most powerful things you can do is put a picture of yourself at a lower weight where you see it every day, because you condition your brain and identity to be that size. And it has a powerful effect on your results, because you say, that's me. This is not me. This is me, right? That identity is critical. Any non-smokers in the room? Non-smokers? Right. So if somebody hands you a cigarette, what do you say? You go, I'm a non-smoker. You go, no, because that's your identity. You don't even think about it. That's where we need to get with the things that we're calling in. And, here's the thing. Are you letting conditions dictate possibility? Right? Because that's what we're taught. Doesn't look like it's going to work. Look at the statistics, right? And our job is to engage in possibility thinking, not probability thinking. And when we do that, we enter a different dimension of being. That a lot of people look at that and go, how'd that happen? How'd you do that? It looks like a magic trick or a mystery. It isn't. It's activating the flow, the source, the God self within. Science has also researched identity-based motivation. And they say it is a bigger prediction of success than willpower. Because think about it, willpower's got a short shelf life, right? And we know this. Anyone do New Year's resolutions that have failed already? Because we know by February, most of them are gone. But when we identify as the person who, even if it doesn't show in our outpicturing, that is critical. When we step into the who I am consciousness instead of the what I want, because wanting always keeps the thing external, right? Very different way. And when we step into this, science says this I am, this identity, persistence increases, stress decreases, opportunity recognition improves. I had this experience when I was 8 years old. I was out in right field playing softball. And trust me, at 8 years old, right field looked like miles away to the infield. Like, I might as well have been in another country. And if you know anything about 8-year-old softball, the ball never goes out there. Never, never. And I saw this person in the middle of the field that always got to touch the ball. They called that person the pitcher. And I'm like, really? That's the pitcher? And all of a sudden, I knew one thing. That's what I was. I was the pitcher. And every time I asked about being a pitcher, they said, well, only the child of the coach gets to be the pitcher. And I said, well, that's a problem. My mom doesn't like sports. My dad isn't around, and nobody's going to coach. But it didn't stop me because I knew that's what I was. And so I got my cardboard box, I got my 3 softballs, and I just started pitching. And that small start several years later led to a college scholarship as a pitcher. Doors started to open I couldn't make open. That's how powerful this is. And that strength of identity moves providence. And it brings us into alignment with what it is we need to live that experience. So with the law of attraction, ask yourself, what identity am I broadcasting right now? Am I a hopeful seeker? Maybe it'll happen, right? Because that's what you're going to get, lots of maybe results. Or are you embodied expectation? It's a very different vibration. And when you're in that vibration, nobody can talk you out of it. Nobody could talk me out of that I was a pitcher. Nobody. Because I knew it, right? And when we do that, right, we start to live from that identity. We start to take the actions and the steps. And so think right now, maybe you want to be creative. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to improve your health, whatever it is. What's your version of a cardboard box that you could throw to? What's one small thing? And if it's health related, come to Eat, Pray, Live. I'm going to give you all kinds of cardboard boxes that are powerful, that will move the needle. Anybody ever hear of the reticular activating system in the brain? Yeah, that's a sneaky little thing. It's our filter. It's our filter. And it filters out anything that isn't consistent with our beliefs. That's why this I am, this identity part is so powerful. Let's do a fun little experiment right now. I want everyone to look around and notice everything that's red. Just look around. Find things that are red. Red. Look for red. Red. Where's red? Just find red. Okay. Everyone find something red? Good. Turn back. Turn back to me. What'd you find that was red? Red. Her purse? Right. Okay. Good. Now, tell me everything that you found that was purple. No, well, now you're looking at it now. But did you see it when you were looking for red? No. That's your reticular activating system. So when I say I am, whatever it is, I am prosperous, I am healthy, right? And I'm embodying that, that's what I start to see, the little bits of it that start to grow. And I filter out anything that doesn't align with that. And then that shapes my vibration. And then that vibration works in alignment with the law of attraction. And more of it comes. See? That's how this works. The synchronicities show up. See, the universe didn't change, your attention did. And the vibration did. And the law of attraction came into alignment. You don't make the law of attraction happen. You don't make the law of vibration happen. You come into alignment with it. You know, I loved, Einstein used to say, I just want to think like God thinks. Why did he say that? He knew that when God thinks something, it happens. He already understood this at a quantum level. So here's our work. Here's my invitation to you. For the next 7 days, I want you to notice what keeps showing up in your thoughts, emotions, and inner narrative. Right? We tell ourselves little stories, don't we? That'll never work. That'll never change. This is hard. And by the way, you can do hard things, right? So pay attention to that, because that is what's shaping what your reticular activating system is latching onto. More evidence it isn't going to work, or more evidence it is working. Maybe it's working and I don't even know it's working. You know, I had a revelation as I was walking through the sanctuary yesterday, and I had this thought about the center, and there's been ebbs and flows, and I thought, what if everything's just falling together? What if there are pieces coming in I can't even see yet that are taking everything we do to another level? And that's what I'm going to walk around in. And now I'm starting to see it. I've actually had 2 demonstrations around this since I've been thinking this, right? So ask yourself, what belief is being reinforced? Is it, I am not enough? I will fail? Better play it safe? Right? Because when you're in the alignment with the flow of the Most High love, the Most High wisdom, and the Most High power, what is there to fear? What is there to fear? See, when we play at that level and we work with our reticular activating system, we begin to see that show up, because you are buying what you're paying attention to. That's the experience you're buying. Our attention is the currency or the vibration of the universe. It's the most potent currency you can have. We think money's strong. Just try vibration, right? It can do things that money can't, by the way. And here's the thing I want you to think about. What would I need to believe for a new pattern to appear? And you can think about a pattern, maybe something that keeps repeating in your life, or something that's felt like a wall. I want you to see through the wall. What would I have to believe is possible for this to shift? And then embody that. And here's how it's gonna feel at first. It's gonna feel like a pair of shoes that are too tight. Anybody ever buy a pair of shoes new and they're kind of like, oh, I gotta wear these in, I gotta stretch into them? The same is true with this consciousness. The same is true with this work. We got to stretch in to this new identity and this new I amness. And lastly, and most importantly, we've got to get into alignment with the law of allowing. See, you can't receive what you're resisting. Lao Tzu put it this way: when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Right? And what are you really? Your source, your wholeness, your peace, your harmony, your love, your power, your wisdom. That's what you are in your spiritual essence. See, the law of allowing is where a lot of people get stuck. And we vibrate clearly. We bring in the opportunity, but sometimes this is how we block them. Over control, right? Yes, bring it. Now I got to fix it. Right? Over control. Perfectionism. That's another way. Remember, done is better than perfect. Worthiness. All of a sudden this thing, I remember I had a training last week at San Jose State University, and I wasn't prepared for the room that I walked in. It had like 200 seats, a huge screen, a big podium. I went, whoa, right? I'm going to be up here. And then I remembered who I am, right? So, we keep working with these principles. Fear of disappointment blocks the flow, closes the door, right? Needing to be more or better, even if the opportunity's there, well, I'm not enough. I'm not ready. How many people have said, I'm not ready? Yeah. You know how you know you're ready? Here's the biggest clue. The opportunity showed up. That's how you know you're ready. Now, you may feel scared. You may not feel like you're enough, but keep moving forward. Keep saying yes, right? allow the current and the flow to carry you through your fear. Anyone who's ever had success has had fear. So if you know you're afraid, that's a good sign. Yay, I'm afraid. It's good. It means I'm up leveling. What if we said that, right? So the law of allowing, flow begins where control ends. I really want you to get that. Lao Tzu also said the highest form of wisdom is knowing when not to interfere, to get out of our own way. John Kabat-Zinn, many people know of him. He's a meditation teacher, and he revolutionized medicine because he noticed that patients with chronic pain were suffering from resistance to pain. So they were pushing against the pain, and he came up with a system called mindfulness-based stress reduction that taught patients how to allow the sensations to come up without judgment so they could move through. And the results were unexpected. Reduced pain, improved immune system, emotional regulation, and healing. What changed wasn't the pain itself, but the relationship to it. And it's now being used worldwide in hospitals, in schools, in trauma recovery. Allowing didn't weaken the healing, it actually strengthened it. Think about how much energy we spend resisting life sometimes. What if we reallocated that energy to flowing with it? You know, neuroscience shows us that non-resistance actually reduces stress hormones. It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, that relax, rest, digest, repair part of our nervous system. And when resistance drops, cortisol decreases, the body shifts into repair, and even mental clarity. We can get to our prefrontal cortex where all the good stuff happens, right? The planning, the thinking, the clarity. And I don't want you to think of allowing as giving up. That's not what I'm talking about. It's cooperating with the flow of an energy and an intelligence, call it spirit, call it God. Ernest Holmes called it the thing itself, that's trying to support and guide you. However you need to get out of your own way. Stop forcing, stop trying to make it happen. You know, we're all just pieces on the chessboard of God, of spirit. And when we trust that and we allow it to happen, and we vibrate from an I am presence and an expectancy of our good, that's when all the exciting stuff drops out of the blue. Anybody had something really amazing ever drop out of the blue? Yeah, it's because you were in alignment with it. So here with the law of allowing, I invite you to say this to yourself daily. I will stop interfering with what is trying to support me. And know that that support won't always look like you think it should look like. Sometimes it'll look like an ending. Sometimes it'll look like a rerouting. Everyone knows the rerouting of GPS, right? And so notice where your effort can soften, where you can say this is enough. Because if you take care of this moment vibrationally, in your identity, this moment, the next moment will take care of itself. That's our work. And so I invite you to work with these three laws. They all work together. Vibration sets the signal, attraction makes it a match, and allowing lets it land. The universe isn't asking you to try harder, it's inviting you to authentically attune yourself. You're not here to get life right. In fact, I believe you can't get life wrong. But I think we all came here to be creators. That's what every spiritual teaching has taught us. To be co-creators for a life that is joyful, that is creative, that is rewarding, that gives us meaning, that gives us a sense of being alive. So the question isn't, why isn't it happening? The real question is, what am I vibing? And am I willing to let that be enough? Am I trusting the force? Anyone ever remember Star Wars where Yoda was training Luke Skywalker and he was there with the thing over his eyes and he couldn't see and he had the lightsaber and this little thing kept zapping him? I love that part of the movie. And he's trying to figure out where it is. And Yoda's like, look, you got to stop trying. And you got to feel it. And life's a lot like that. The flow is a lot like that. Less trying, more feeling, and more attunement. Because when you vibe with the universe, life doesn't chase you, it cooperates with you. And if you want to do life differently in a way that flows with the good and the harmony of the universe, I invite you to begin to consciously use these laws and start to vibe with the universe. And here's the thing. Don't believe me. I invite you to prove it. Because when you prove it for yourself, that's where real understanding happens. And your faith grows and your fear shrinks. And mastery starts to unfold in your life. And it's not a straight line. I'll tell you, almost every day, I fall asleep, I wake up. I fall asleep, I wake up. So be easy with yourself and begin the journey of mastery. I want that for everybody here and online. Blessed be. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you will please stand, I will read our affirmation once, and then we will read it together. I consciously choose thoughts, emotions, and actions that are in alignment with Spirit's vision for my highest and best experience in life. Together. I consciously choose thoughts, emotions, and actions that are in alignment with Spirit's vision for my highest and best experience of life. And so it is. Please have a seat, if you will. Take your gift in your hand. And you can also give online, which will pop up here in a second. We have Sierra CSL. You can text that to 44321. We also have a QR code, all kinds of wonderful ways to give. And if you will, please put your gift on your heart, and then we will read our intentional giving statement together. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. All right, so now the basket will come around. So it is with a deep heart of gratitude that I receive the bounty of these gifts. And I know that these gifts and that we are receiving blesses the giver and the receiver. And that these gifts come back to each giver, pressed down, multiplied, and flowing over, because we are activating the law of giving and receiving. And I know that these gifts move through the center to continue to expand its good work and light in the world, and it moves into the community, the state, the nation, and the world. This energy of money that we infuse with love, light, and truth. I release this word, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, some thank yous. I want to thank Pat, our usher, for ushering today. Our candlelighter, Carol. Announcements, Diana. Streaming tech, Diane and Diana. Double D's. Chana on soundboard. Sign placer, Chana. Practitioner of the day, Rev Lanny. Also, our platform hostess of the mostest, Rev K. Nice and loud. She's out of the room. And our musician, last but not least, the Billy Bensing. So, what are you taking away from our experience together today? Shout it out. Gratitude. Allowing. Life. Joy. Hope. Beautiful. Vibration. Yeah. We can ask each other, how's your vibes today? How about that? We'll start that as a norm. All right. If you will please stand, we will do our benediction. And repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called the law of vibration. It's this thing called the law of attraction. And it's this thing called the law of allowing. I know it. I feel it. I sense it. Because I am it. And so it is. Take it away, Billy. I release and I let go. I let the spirit of my heart open wide. No more stray. I think I see the light. I release and I let go. Spirit of my life, my heart is open wide. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I'm only here for God. I am here for God. Please join us for coffee and tea. Hope to see you next Sunday. And board, we're going to try and get started around noon if we could be in the back. Have a great week, everyone.